The Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra Xbox controller is a premium controller, but does it warrant its cost? I'd like to think so, but your mileage will vary, as I'm sure you understand that while I think this is a great controller, you may find fault in my reasonings. Thanks to Turtle Beach for providing this review unit for testing. At its face, the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra wants to wow you with its display screen, back buttons, and RGB. But there's a lot more to this controller than how good it looks. It strives to go up against one of the greatest controllers on the market, the Elite Series 2 by Xbox. Growing up during an age of gaming where third-party controllers were reserved for your friends spending the night or your annoying cousin visiting for the summer, I've seen my fair few attempts to create something that compares to the OEM controllers. I'm happy to report back that the Stealth Ultra does that and more, but not everything works well, or will be for you. So let's get into the good and the bad. First off, I'd like to start with the good. The feel of the controller is on par with your standard Series X or S Xbox controller, and the weight is close, if not a bit lighter. To be honest, I think I've started to appreciate how light it is compared to the Elite Series 2, which now feels like a 5-pound weight. While the texture is good, it's not as tactile as I'd like, though I've never had the grip slip, even after some sweaty Call of Duty matches. Then there are the buttons. This is where I appreciate the Stealth Ultra. Sporting all the buttons you'd expect, including the share button, which I use frequently. The face buttons feel responsive, and the trigger locks offer 2 different positions for faster firing if that's what you prefer. The back of the controller sports 4 programmable back paddles, which are not the standard layout you might be used to with the Elite Series 2. Over the first week, I had to get used to how they felt, but I'm glad I stuck with them. Not only do they provide less cramping due to the placement, but the size and texture are easier to register, and the travel distance for a full D-press feels shallower, meaning quicker response time when I'm trying to rely on that weapon swap or reload. The last major boon to the actual hardware is probably the biggest improvement overall, aside from other third-party options out there, the Hall Effect control sticks. You may not be familiar with Hall Effect, but the idea is that instead of using physical parts to determine where the control stick's position is, you use magnetic fields to affect the voltage on an electronic conductor. The benefit is there's no wear and tear on the magnets, which is typically what causes stick drift with mechanical parts. While this isn't a perfect solution, it's by far the most effective and should be the industry standard until that perfect solution is found. A welcome companion to the controller is its charging dock. Wireless charging is the most convenient way to keep your controller ready for your gaming nightly sessions, and the Stealth Ultra does a good job of providing a charging dock that houses the USB dongle for PC connection as well as the controller itself. While the charger seems pretty standard, I appreciate how strong the magnet is to keep the controller in place and connected to the charger. The travel case itself has a soft interior fabric and a small mesh zip pouch that holds the charging dock and the controller, along with the rubber stick caps that are provided in the case. Speaking of caps, the 4 provided caps offer 2 different styles: Convex and Concave caps. The Concave caps are larger than the concave sticks on the controller by default, but offer more grip. The Convex caps are the same size as the detachable Concave caps, but provide far more texture given the nature of their design. Unfortunately, this controller does not offer any extended sticks for greater precision, something I assume is made up for with the software. Similar to the Elite Series 2, you can expect that the charging dock will sit nicely in the travel case, allowing the plug to feed into the back of the case, giving you the ability to charge the device while it's in its case. So those are all the awesome things I love about this controller. Now, while that may be enough for most of you, I do want to let you know about the things they could improve on. Let's start with what I think is the biggest issue: the software. Now, this purely pertains to the smartphone app and PC app. Both are clunky and don't really offer the experience I was expecting with a controller pushing this kind of premium price. The controller does a wonderful job of offering a wide range of options, from controller curves to dead zones for those who like to dabble in the fine-tuning aspects, but additionally, they give you full control over the RGB features and vibrations, not only just for the triggers, but the controller overall. The best place to adjust all of the cool features is going to be through the controller. There's a separate button just for this function, and if you forget to hit that button once you're done adjusting a setting, you'll find yourself wondering why you aren't able to use your face buttons in the middle of a game. You can, however, adjust the audio volumes for both the headset and the game party chat mixing, as well as the EQ presets pretty easily when playing. There are 10 software-based profiles that you can set up and customize to give you different button mappings and settings for each different profile. Something I would consider a positive for the controller, but best talked about with the software in the cons. Turtle Beach is doing a lot here, and while I appreciate the option, there are a couple of standout features that I don't feel belong on a controller. The biggest one has to be the social section that allows you to connect your social media accounts to the controller and display notifications on the display screen. Currently, this is connected to my Xbox app on my phone, and the only notifications it's pushing to my controller are reminders to claim daily reward points. Feasibly, this would be for Xbox messages, but to be honest, if I'm using my Xbox or PC, I feel like there are better options for communication and social functions than using a small display that makes me feel like I'm using a BlackBerry from 2002. But how long does the controller last? Well, in my weeks of testing, I can confirm that using low power mode, you will get close to 30 hours of playtime without a headset. More realistic game use, if you have the controller stay on for more than 5 minutes of idle time, you can use the headset connected to it. With the RGB, it's closer to 15 hours of use. I would argue that 15 hours doesn't do as well as it could, but still quite a good deal considering how easily the charging dock makes it to charge your controller when you're done gaming. That leaves me with pairing. Most of my time spent testing this device, I had it paired up to my Xbox Series X. The reason for this is that the pairing between devices is more challenging than it needs to be. I recognize that I'm asking for a lot, but the USB dongle they provide does a good job of providing a solid low latency connection when paired to a Windows system. However, when looking to pair the controller back to my Xbox, I found the software in the controller to be unhelpful and easier to just plug the controller directly into the Xbox. Once I did have a connection, the fact that the third-party controller is wireless and responsive with a strong connection to my systems was something I feel has come a long way. Overall, I have to say, I think the Stealth Ultra takes controllers to a new level that should be acknowledged. While there are a lot of things I think need work, having this amount of customization built into the software is a direction the industry should push toward. Couple that with the Hall effect control sticks and programmable back buttons, it really does just about everything I'd want a controller to do. I will say that this won't appeal to everyone, but I do recommend giving it a chance and seeing for yourself why this has become my top controller of choice for single device gamers.